Welcome back to the read. I'm so excited to be here with you guys again today. Today, in this particular reading, we're going to be reading for our Cancer babies. Hello, my fellow water signs. I'm so excited to be reading today for you guys today because you guys are the mothers of all of the signs. You guys are the natural nurturers, the natural caregivers. And once you find your people, like, y'all are loyal down to the bone, fiercely protective of your people. And I love that about you guys. You guys are also highly intuitive, so highly sensitive to the world and the people and the things around you, and really in tune with your emotions. Today's astrological transits, Mercury is in Cancer, so I wonder if we have something about communication that comes up. That would be really interesting. How does one more so develop a nurturing form of communication, a caring form of communication? Remember, we all have Cancer in our natal charts, whether that's your sun, moon, or rising, in your planets, or definitely, for sure, it's in your one of your 12 houses. We have 12 houses. Each house is assigned a different astrological sign. So the shuffle is not bringing out anything, so very interesting. So we're going to cut the deck, and we're going to do something that we don't usually do here. We're just going to pull from the top. Emperor, very different than the Cancer energy. So Knight of Cups, the Magician. Yep, we have something about communication here with the Six of Swords, the Fool, and the Sun. This was the same position the Sun was in our last reading. How about it? So the Emperor calls in this particular air of stability and security. This is Aries energy, so the initiator, the go-getter, the action starter, somebody who's not afraid to put their words and their thoughts into action. So that's coming up in the U position. I think that is very interesting. What is making you come out as this Emperor? I'm only curious because it seems a little bit outside of the normal realm of like the way that Cancers operate. The Emperor is very rigid, very stern. I mean, look at him. He's sitting in a stone throne. Like, that can't be comfy. Cancers would never choose a stone throne. Their throne would be laced with pillows and embroidery, a plush throne, definitely not a stone throne. But I wonder if there's something that's calling you to have High Priestess. This keeps on coming out no matter what is going on today. The High Priestess is coming out, and you have the 10 of Wands at the top. So the Emperor is calling in this very unique energy that seems to be outside of the energy that is usually Cancerian. And so I wonder if the situations that you're in is calling you to have a little bit more of this assertiveness in the way that you go about things. That could be very interesting. The energy surrounding are the Knight of Cups and the Magician. So the Knight of Cups is the person who is actively bringing this cup, this emotional cup, to the energy surrounding. Remember, this is energy surrounding this row right here. So I wonder, it almost looks, this is interesting. It almost looks as if the knight is bringing this cup to this emperor, asking the emperor to soften up a little, Pharaoh. Let my people go. Yeah, it definitely looks like the knight is bringing this emotional cup to the emperor and just asking it to soften a little bit. You know what's very interesting? The sign, the symbol for the Cancer is a crab. So even though they are these emotional people, they have this tough outer shell. So I wonder if, honey, are you showing your tough outer shell right now? So maybe I take everything that I say back. Maybe Cancers do have this Emperor energy because of that tough outer shell. Sometimes, the toughest cookies are the softest cookies. Ooh, death. Let's see how that plays in today's reading. Ace of Swords at the bottom. So definitely some type of communication. Swords, Five of Swords. Very, very interesting. So I wonder if in the duality of Cancer, you're showing this tough outer shell, and the Knight of Cups is asking you, honey, soften up just a little bit. What I was getting ready to say is that sometimes the softest people have to have the hardest outer shell because they need to protect themselves. And Emperor is that. I mean, even look at the surroundings that he's in. Desolate, filled with these rocky mountains. Like, my God, it's just a hard terrain. Have you ever tried to crack a crab shell? That's hard too. Especially if you don't have a cracker and all you got is your teeth. I love a good crab boil. I'm not going to lie. This came out. I think this is the 4. Yep, the 4 of Swords. I'm going to put that right here. So definitely something about your communication. Have you been rough with your words lately, my dear? Because you also have the 5 of Swords. Showing some type of battle has ensued. Yeah, some type of verbal battle has ensued. And just because Cancer is emotional doesn't mean that they won't pinch you with them damn claws. They will get you. So I wonder if you've been going through some type of situation that's calling you to be a little bit sharper with your words. Maybe bruising a couple people with those pinches as you go along. But the 6 of Cups is reminding you that a lot of the people that you might be bruising are actually like in your camp. Like, these are people who are your partners, not your enemies. Judgment. Let's see what's next. Yeah, lots of swords. 9 of Swords coming out. You have a 9 at the top and a 9 at the bottom. 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords. Swords and cups, swords and cups, swords and cups, swords and cups. So you're definitely, maybe if it's not a battle with another person, you're battling with yourself, especially with the 9 of Swords at the top. You might be going through some situation where you have been very hard on yourself. You've taken that tough outer shell and you've applied it to yourself. And this card, the Six of Cups, is asking you to remember your inner child. Don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace. You're you're in you're in community that loves you, that has grace for you. And you don't have to be so hard on yourself all the time. So I think this might be a battle with yourself, honestly. Trying to find the balance between this tough outer shell and this soft, luscious, sweet, succulent, yummy inside. I'm talking about crabs, not cancers now. But I think you might be going through a battle where you have to figure out where is the balance between this tough outer shell and this soft inside, this emotional, nurturing, empathetic, highly intuitive inside. And how do you bring those together? How do you bring those together? You bring them together through the magician, the ultimate alchemizer. This particular magician carries the number 1, so the ultimate leader. But also the magician has pentacles, cups, swords, and wands on his table, and he's getting ready to do some magic as a magician does, right? And I think that these two things can live in balance within you. You don't have to choose one or the other. How can you take this Emperor energy and your emotional side and let them two, they seem like they're opposing one another, and maybe that's the fight. Maybe you're just like, oh, these two things can't exist in the same person. But yeah, honey, they can. 4 of Cups, 3 of Swords, 10 of Cups. Yeah. Swords and cups, swords and cups, swords and cups, swords and cups. Let's leave those to the side for right now. See if anything else comes out. Cups at the bottom. 7 of Cups. What is going on, huh? And guess what? I just cut the deck. High Priestess at the bottom. So there's, again, the High Priestess at the bottom. So there's something that's being, maybe your intuition is your way through this. Maybe intuitively you know how to let these two parts of you live in unison and live in harmony with one another. I don't know why the number 6 is coming to me. I know we have 6 out here on the board. Oh, we have another 6 here. Oh, wait, I already cut it. And then you have the Page of Cups, so you're learning. Yes, 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 Cancer, that's what it is. You're learning. You're learning how to let your, I think you got the tough outer shell part down pat. Let's be real. I think, especially with this Emperor card out, you got that tough outer shell. You know how to do that. But now it's time. Now it's time to really let your emotions flow and come out and come through. I've never seen a read like this. Never seen a read like this. I've never seen a read with just swords and cups. So let's really dig into this and see if we can draw even more meaning out of this. So in your journey, you have the 6 of Swords. The 6 of Swords is saying that you are moving from turbulent waters, maybe a little bit of that Emperor energy. You're moving into, moving from these turbulent waters, or waters that were, that you had to learn. Maybe that's where that tough outer shell came from. You were in turbulent waters and you had to build up the strength in your outer shell in order to swim through that. But now you're going to calmer waters, but you're taking your knowledge, your wisdom, your ideas, your thoughts, all of those, your communication with you. That's beautiful. Maybe in this transition period, maybe this is where you get into the Page and the Knight of Cups. It's very interesting that you have this succession in the same suit, page, knight. So they come after so it goes page, knight, queen, king. And they're both in cups. So it shows a graduation. You go from this learner energy to this action. Learner to action, learner to action. As you transition from these turbulent waters to these calmer waters. I think the knight was right here. Yes, it was. You also have the Four of Swords. So maybe meditation is going to help you on this journey as you learn how to marry your tough outer shell with your softer insides. But it's definitely a new journey because you have the Fool out here. You come to this place after learning how to marry the two. After learning how to marry the two, you start on this new journey. And this new journey requires two things. Don't be afraid of the Death card. The Death card is pretty amazing to have out in this. As you're shedding, you might be molting. You might be molting. In the process of molting, I think this is the molt, the Fool card. That tough outer shell actually becomes soft again. It takes a while for the proteins inside of the shell to harden back to its former thickness and hardness. And that's the area in which we call the void. There's this death that happens. You're molting, you're shedding into this new form where you are able to have that shell, but maybe you turn into a soft shell crab instead of a lobster. Maybe that's what's going on, but there's some type of death that's going on. And I think the death is more so in the way of transformation. And in this particular read, because we're reading for Cancers, I'm going to be using the word molting and shedding. But you molt into this new crab in this Fool's journey. But yes, you have death out here that shows that transformation and that void, the void between your old self and the new self, that middle area where you're still trying to figure it out, where the old shell has been released, but the new shell isn't quite fully formed yet. But you also have the Sun, so it's showing you that not only is this possible, but you are going to find a lot more joy in marrying your tough outer shell with your emotional self. You find much more joy in that process rather than just being the emperor all the time. Oh man, that was a little rough to get through, but we got through it. You have the Three of Swords, so there might be a little bit of ego death that comes with, oh yeah, for sure. For sure. You're going to have a little bit of ego death because you're going through this transformation. You might come to a point where the things that are offered to you are no longer emotionally fulfilling to you. And that's going to happen. As you go into this new journey, that's definitely going to happen. The old things no longer satisfy you. And that's okay. That just shows that you're growing, that you're learning. And in that, you end up at the 10 of Cups. How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? You end up at the end of the journey. So not only is this showing you the process that you're going through, it's showing that you have a new journey going on, and it's also showing you what's at the end of that journey, which is the 10 of Cups, that ultimate emotional fulfillment. Yep, Eight of Cups, you walked away from something. You were offered a cup. Let's just see what was at the top. Another sword. What is going on? That is crazy. Let me put the cards down because these are really throwing me. I said, let me put the cards down and then I pick them right back up. Child, girl, please. Queen of Swords at the bottom. Two of Cups at the top. What is going on? You definitely are going through a process and it's going to require a lot out of you. Remember your inner child. Remember your youth. Remember the times where you were emotionally available, when you were emotionally new to this world. And I think that's what the Six of Cups is asking you to draw into. You come out of some type of battle because you were really in this emperor energy. And with the Page of Cups and Nine of Cups, it starts your relearning of how to marry the two. You go through the Fool's journey. Once you learn how to marry the two, you go into the Fool at 0, unlimited potential. And you end up with the sun. You end up with the sun in your face shining. How beautiful is that? This is a really amazing read. And remember, you end up with the 10 of Cups. You end this journey successfully where you have fully learned how to embody your tough outer shell and your warm, intuitive, emotional insides. And you get to learn how to flow between the two. Cancer, this was such a beautiful reading. We talked about Mercury being in Cancer right now, and look at all the swords that came out. Definitely a communication topic, definitely an emotional topic, definitely learning how to alchemize your shells. And you even have a molting period where you're shedding the old and bringing in the new. My God, Cancer, what a beautiful read. I hope you enjoyed it. If this is you, if it resonates, let me know. Share in the comments, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.